Hey everyone, Rob Norton here. Got another book to look at today. I'm gonna be looking at Avengers #1 by Rob Liefeld, and I have someone with me today. John?
Hello there. Sorry, I was trying to creepily come in with my hand. And
He snuck in there. This is John Norton. This is my brother, fellow artist, writer, creator of his own books, and we wanted to get together and talk about some books and just kind of share our opinions because we are nerds and we like the same kind of stuff.
This is just a visual treat.
It is a visual treat.
Dog shit.
We were just talking how I didn't intend to make this channel, these videos just to rip on somebody, but I got to keep going with the bad stuff, and Liefeld's stuff is just so terrible in a way that doesn't need to be. He could do better, and he just chooses to not. So we were going to look at this now. Avengers #1. This is a companion piece to the Captain America #1. These came out at the same time. He had control over Captain America and the Avengers.
It was really weird, I remember, because like Captain America is the origin story, and like here he is, he's in it already.
Yeah, so yeah, there was an origin story in the Captain America book, but then Avengers, he's just with the Avengers. How did those connect? I don't know. I don't know if I care. But this is not Liefeld because that looks kind of good. This their story in pencils is done by a guy named Chap Yap. He worked for Rob Liefeld's studio. He does pages 1 through 19, and Liefeld does pages 20 through 41. So I just want to kind of look at the Liefeld stuff because that's the entertaining thing. Not to take away from the art that Chap does, but it's good, it's competent. I think he's more skilled, but we want to look at the fun stuff.
Right.
So
if you're too good, you're not exciting. Apparently.
Yeah. So let's just skip by. This is all very fine stuff. Clearly it was the boring setup stuff, and Liefeld wanted to draw the cool stuff towards the back. One thing I got to point out, I will never be on board with or like any character that doesn't have a nose.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
It doesn't make any sense to me. If anybody can see that, I don't know who this character's supposed to be.
Like Hellcat.
Yeah. But there's no nose.
Hellcat had a nose in the original.
I don't know why anyone thinks that's interesting. I will never be on board with a character that doesn't have a nose. As a double page spread, I mean, Chap was doing good work there. I mean, that's all pretty good stuff. But let's just get to the Liefeld stuff.
This headpiece that Scarlet Witch is wearing is just weird.
It is ridiculous, but it's actually a design from the original 60s. I think Kirby did. He had this mask with that chin pointy thing.
Well, Kirby is weird.
Well, Liefeld's weird, and I thought this was one of his design elements that he wanted, but no, that's an original. It's funny because it stands out visually, like, okay, it's interesting, but
great backgrounds.
Well, backgrounds are just so difficult, apparently. Where are they? Who knows? But as with the Captain America, that shield looks like it's warped and weird. And if you're doing the Avengers, I mean, so you got, this is the Vision. Okay, great. The Swordsman, I don't know who this guy is with this terrible haircut.
Yeah.
I don't remember him. I'm not a huge Avenger historian. I don't know a lot about some of the characters. I think he's somebody that's been in the books. This version of whoever that is, I don't know. You got Wanda, Scarlet Witch, and that's Hawkeye wearing a sort of Wolverine mask, carrying the traditional Liefeld bow and arrow without a string.
And like just these arrows and this quiver or something, like it looks weird about how he's hunched over and how that's angled, and it doesn't really come out so you can see it back here. Maybe they're smaller. I don't know.
You would think that they would be shown on his back, but this is a thing Liefeld will do. This character his upper body is completely bent over and pointing at us. So this thing is sitting this way, but it should be pointing at us. But he won't do that. He'll always draw someone angled right at you and then draw just something sticking out of the back of him.
I mean, it conceivably could be something where it's strapped on and it's angled or held lower on his back where he could easily get it from the side, but I don't give Liefeld that much credit that that's what he was doing.
No, and I'm going to call bullshit on you. Where you said strapped on him,
yeah,
there's not even a harness holding it onto him. Yeah, there's nothing there.
There's one thing that Liefeld does that I want to see if he does in this book that I want to point out. So we'll see.
We'll see if it's on there. We'll find it and see if it's there. But anyway, the Avengers are going to find whatever, a little mountains and a ship that took them 5 seconds to draw. And
one more thing. Let's go back.
Yep.
Talking about the background, and I don't know. Like, yeah, they didn't establish where they were previously. Because when I draw, sometimes I will skimp on backgrounds on smaller panels if I've already established where they're at.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that here. Like, just where are they? What are they doing? Where are they going? It's just lines, and then the colors is like, I don't know.
Johnny, you're talking as if these were people who cared about what they were doing.
Oh, God, yeah.
So the Avengers show up, and what a weird, like, look at their ship. You're looking down. You're elevated in the air looking down at the top of their ship, and then I guess they're climbing up a mountain, but now we're looking straight on at these guys.
And where does the side of this ship, like, where does it end? Where's the bottom of it? Like, is it just behind her? Maybe the ship is crashing and they're just all evacuated. All
I know is that obviously someone doesn't care. This always stood out to me from the first time I saw it. Do you see how this handle is not mounted center? Mm-hmm. That is the easiest thing to find. If you know any kind of artistic anything, if you take a square or a rectangle shape, anything with like 90-degree corners, all you got to do is connect the corners from top left to bottom right and bottom left, top right, and then connect them at an X, and that'll give you the exact center of that square shape. This is like mounted way up high. He just drew it and did not give a shit. How could you see like there's only this little bit of space there and this big space down there?
Robert, maybe these are new designs, and maybe he redesigned Mjolnir.
It's a new hammer. Whosoever fucks up this hammer shall be called Liefeld. Mm-hmm. They go and they're finding Thor. I guess it's a little bit of a twist. They in the original continuity, Captain America was frozen in ice and they found him, and now I guess they're finding Thor.
Oh, that's clever.
Trapped in ice? Is he 50 feet tall? How awesome of an Avenger would that be if they're all this regular size? He's like this giant Thor with that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right? And that redesign is not anything awesome at all. This is one of the worst pictures of Captain America, and that is saying something from him.
Yeah, like that leg and where are his muscles going?
His neck is, I think it's separated from his body. It's like hovering down and it's going to fall off.
And I never noticed it until you started pointing these out when they're just staring.
I'm not wrong, am I?
No, I was like, oh my, now I can't unsee
his whole thing, he thinks this is a thing. They're always staring at us. Like, characters are never looking at each other, or they're just us. Mm-hmm. He does it so much. It's so obnoxious. I think Vision is making sweet love to the shield, I guess. At least he's kind of trying to do a thing with hands here, sort of.
Yeah.
Because he'll either go for it and try to do the best hands he can do, or he will draw the most innocuous shape and say that that's a hand or a fist. He either goes one way or the other. Big double page spread of a guy exploding out. Big double page spread of a guy coming out. There's Thor. It's okay.
He's standing there. He's big.
It's the colorist, as in some of those other ones, they're really bringing it. They're really trying. That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I don't like the design, so that kind of throws it off. But whatever. It's all right.
Seen worse.
Seen worse. Let's move on. They're looking at us. Staring. What a weird body shape on Loki. I don't know. It's just... And then this Captain America head and this weird neck, just... I don't get it. I don't... It just looks terrible.
I mean, as an artist... You know, it's not all gold the first try, but that's what an eraser is for. It's like what directors, like you don't have to do things on the first take.
Yeah, first draft is shit. That's a That's a thing that I live by. Sometimes when you draw a thing, you can actually erase it, just like you're saying. Let's try something better.
You may have put a lot of time into it, but sometimes it's okay to redo it.
I think that artist Brian Hitch said in an interview one time as an advice to artists, don't hesitate to redo a page just because you really nailed that forearm. I think that was his exact quote. Like, just saying, just because you did something, maybe he really liked the face itself is okay, I guess. But when everything else sucks, don't be like, well, I can't erase that. I have to keep it. Move on. Let's try it again. Noseless creature thing again.
How's a cat supposed to smell without a nose?
That just, with their ears?
Yeah. Her earballs.
Her earballs. This is one of the most ridiculous. Like, look at that Captain America. That isn't even close to approximating a human figure. This angle on the head. Why do we have to have the head looking towards us? Have the head looking that way. Like, you can see the back of his head. This is just...
His head is incredibly small, like his shoulders and his arms and his butt cheeks.
That is the same as that.
Yeah.
And, weird proportions. There's other artists you can look at that do weird proportions, but they have like a animated kind of cartoony style artists who do that weird distortion of the human figure that this guy absolutely does not have.
At least he put in backgrounds that are appropriate to the setting.
There's at least appropriate backgrounds. They're in a like ice cave. Okay. And I've said this before about his stuff, but he suddenly started his art getting hyper angular, very sharp and pointy. His New Mutants and X-Force stuff was not this way. Now, artists evolve and change, but
my
God in heaven. That Captain America, though, I gotta say, is just, in his whole series of bad drawings, that's one of the worst. I remember the first time I read this years ago, and looking at his cape here, why does it go to like a sharp point?
Is it the... It's hard to tell. Is it that... Sorry, I'm trying to look at another version of his. Does he have that flap that comes up?
Like the Spawn thing?
Yeah.
I don't think so, but now you got me wanting to check. Let's go flip back to... I mean, he has kind of a thing. So there is something there, but yeah, he does have it there, but it just, that was his solution to that. It just looks weird. It just all looks weird. This Thor, this giant arm and this weird leg and the proportions on it all. Isn't it just odd?
Yeah.
I mean, something I want to do, there's that channel, the Cartoonist Kayfabe. They do book reviews, and they'll have a piece of tracing paper, and they'll get it and lay it on top of a thing, and then trace real quickly just the figure, just to see how fucking weird it is. That would be amazing to do right there, to see how weird that looks.
I've seen images of like Liefeld's Captain America. Like, there's one specific where like an artist will go over and draw it how he would look if he were naked.
Yep.
Tiny penis, weird muscle.
Yeah. Liefeld's is a great candidate to do that type of stuff, to see what these characters would look like, just their forms broken down into just the basic human shape. I don't hate this page. I kind of don't mind this. I know he's staring at us again, but it's okay.
I mean, he's even going for his hammer and still looking at us.
Yeah. Look at your hammer, Thor. Look at your hammer. Don't look at me. I feel awkward.
Yeah, quit looking at the camera.
Yeah. Don't you know that? You're in a movie. You don't do that. This is a funny choice of his to just draw a terrible forearm and a hand-ish looking thing. That's the best you could come up with. It's just so hollow. It's just not interesting at all. He's shooting way above his artistic ability and station in life and his skill set, and it just fails. These stupid designs, this Hawkeye character.
Again, what's going on with the things in his back and not coming out the other side?
They're just sticks.
Yeah.
They're sticking out of his back. They're sword handles, I guess.
How many swords does one swordsman need?
Apparently at least six.
Swordman, not swordsman.
I think it actually is swordsman, so it's plural.
Oh, never mind that.
And Thor here, he looks like he's kind of mellow, But they're talking, and suddenly he's pissed again. I'm going to flex. You got this much real estate for your artwork, and that's the best you can do on a foot. He's like, hey, I spent a lot of time on this face, and I put a lot of time in that hand and these arms. I'm done with the feet. I'm over.
It would actually be better if he just blackened in that whole thing.
Yeah. That would actually look better. And then, I mean...
Okay, Goofy.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing he's ever done. It's okay, but it feels like someone who thinks he's better than he is, trying to make something that he thinks is better than it is, trying to capture the power and essence of the legacy of the artists and writers that have come before, trying to match and do better and just failing in every way possible. And I don't know why. I don't mean to point this out, but man, does the Vision have a powerful bulge right there. I think he's kind of excited.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Wanda's right there. They're a couple, and he's got a big old package right there.
He loves Thor.
He does. And everyone's seen this. Everyone's talked about this elongated version of this character, Enchantress, I think it is.
Yeah.
I could see what he's trying to do. Some artists have a way to exaggerate a character's form. He's trying to do that, but he fails.
Yeah, that's really weird. I mean, typically, isn't like the top of the head and top of the crotch supposed to be the same length as the legs?
In kind of normal human proportions, but most comic artists will do a version where it's elongated and not quite that, but that is going way too far. He's trying to do a thing he doesn't understand how to do.
Right.
But what stands out more weird to me...
that he tries to put an ass cheek in there
yeah,
just because...
Well, you got to have something. You got to get an ass shot in there. This... Again, the colorist is really bringing it with like the shadows and the nose thing, but like, where in the fuck is her ear?
She's Asgardian, does not have an ear.
I didn't know that was a biological trait of Asgardians, that they don't have ears, clearly. What a weird, and like, it's like both not bad, but then like just that little glaring omission makes it look so stupid. I don't know, a little topical Kang. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Not great. I think that's the end of the book. I don't know if there's anything interesting in the...
Fuck off, LIEFELD.
The back... I mean, it's so hard to not just want to say that.
Never be hired by him now.
Yeah. He'll never hire me for a book. It's just laughable. It's ridiculous. Here's the thing that he would tell you if he were sitting right here, and he's touted this. This is the best-selling issue of Avengers ever to this day. No copy of Avengers has sold more copies than this. And that is true. But that is not the whole story. Comics were dying, and they brought back... Marvel got Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld to come back to revitalize these books. And they did a massive PR thing to hype it up, to sell it. And Liefeld's name, I mean, he comes attached with a lot of history. He had the New Mutants and the X-Force. He shot those to great financial success. And his own books, Youngblood and stuff, were selling. So they bring them in. So they hype it up. So the shops order this stuff on massive scale just due to the hype.
Right.
So yeah, it sold a lot. Does anybody talk about it with nostalgia and reverence except for his little group of fans?
And like, the times are different now from where they were, and like people don't buy single issues as much as they do now.
Yeah.
It's just like, no one's gonna break the Jim Lee record.
Never.
And it's just the way it is. So I'm sure there are other better issues, like New Avengers #1. Insanely better. Like there's that's just off the top of my head. While I'm looking, before I forget, what is going on with this fucking hand? Like, I'm trying to look at how a fist
and
flipper. Knuckles go.
It's a flipper. He's got like a thumb, and then just a big flat. He doesn't have separated fingers.
There's weird veins thing going on.
Yeah, it's all stupid.
And the way oh my god,
it gets worse the more you look at it.
Where's the handle is going up like that, and then It's going down.
Sorry, let me get out my device. Like, is the handle going like that? But then it doesn't. But like the mounting point is like, it looks like it should, because the hammer is like this. But then the handle is like,
maybe it's a wiggly.
It's like, made of rubber.
It's rubber, yeah.
It's the prop hammer that Chris Hemsworth uses in the movies when he's swinging it around. We could go forever about this. Just a joke. Just an absolute joke. But he stands by it hardcore to this day on his podcast. He's like, Avengers #1, highest selling issue of Avengers ever. That's a record. I've brought the receipts. Yeah, it sold the most, but it's not just because it was good.
Well, yeah, and he takes all the credit for Deadpool and his popularity from the movies and stuff. But yes, he created Deadpool, but I think, like you pointed out to me, like he wasn't really responsible for the way Deadpool was portrayed in that movie. Like, Deadpool was not talking to the audience in his first appearance.
No, that the fourth wall breaking was brought on by different creators long after Liefeld was not touching it forever. That was something someone else brought on. I'm not. We could do a whole Deadpool thing,
right?
But Liefeld really likes to hide. He does have a legitimate history and things that he did do and is true. But when he wants to talk about this and say as if it's the only measure of kicking ass that you need to know is that it's the highest selling book, as if that's the talking point that ends the conversation. It's not. It sold a lot due to the hype at the time, but no one talks about this. This is not in anyone's list of best runs of Avenger ever. It's garbage, but it did sell a lot, but that doesn't mean anything. So anyway, that's the book. That's looking at it. Johnny, thanks for looking at this with me. It's always fun.
God, I wish I didn't.
I know, right? You kind of feel ill. We got to look at something else that's actually drawn well. So that's everything for now. I appreciate anyone who stopped in and took a look at this video. Let us know what you think. What did we miss? Are we crazy? Are we the weird ones?
Are we the assholes?
Are we the assholes?
Yes.
Yes. So that's all. And thanks for watching. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.